Welcome back to the Before Passing Go podcast. I'm your host, Michael Malfa with Boardwalk Insurance. Today, we're joined by Boardwalk's favorite sales manager, Alan Hanania.
Favorite or only?
Oh, they don't need to know that.
So before we started recording, we were talking about Alan and the fact that he drinks an excessive amount of coffee. Is that true? You drink a lot of coffee?
I mean, you tell me based on the energy that you're feeling in the room.
You have a lot of energy, but even without coffee, I think you're energized. Have you always been a very
Yeah. Do you wake up
energized
with,
guy?
with this kind of energy?
No, it takes about like 30 minutes to ramp up. It's like starting a car in the morning after a cold day.
Prime it with some espresso.
Yeah, it's like the lube that goes through my system just to get the engine rolling.
What about you, Mike? Are you heavy on coffee, or do you try to taper back?
I've been trying to taper back in my old age.
No, but were you always big into coffee?
Always, yeah, always.
Heavy.
I used to do that intermittent fasting and start fasted with a black espresso, double espresso, sometimes with a little shot of MCT oil.
What is that?
MCT, it's coconut, a medium triglyceride chain fatty acid, which comes from coconut oil, and that would really get me going. But I've had to slow down lately on the coffee.
I drink McDonald's or Tim Hortons coffee.
I was just gonna say, did you hear what he just said? I didn't understand a word he said.
Medium chain triglyceride fats.
So tell me, Mike, are you into like training, working out, and all that? Because I know that you are pretty regimented on what you eat and how you eat. And would you say that that's the hardest thing that you've ever had to do? Is train your body that I have to eat this way. I'm gonna try to drink this way. I'm gonna try to live this way.
Well, listen. You have two weapons, your body and your mind. Mind is one. We got to work on our mind. We're always working on our mind day to day, but you have to have the body to support it. And the body is what kind of leads the way for the mind. So yes, I've always looked after that. And longevity is everything. Like we're here for not necessarily a long period of time. So we want to make sure we extend our health span, extend the amount of time that you're healthy for and you feel good and you're energized. And you have to, when we're running this business, we have to always kind of be switched on. And in order to be switched on, your physicality has to be there.
It's interesting. You know what a professional told me once? You know the heartbeat. You know the heartbeat that you see? Sometimes your life is like that heartbeat, the blips. Every now and then you'll get a blip, you'll get a spike of something that you've done really, really well. And then there's some people that they just plateau and they're just like redlining. Mm-hmm. And I think that here, especially with both of you guys, have known you long enough that you're always blipping. You're always doing something to move the needle. Is that something that people have to understand, especially about your industry? You always got to be moving that needle because it can't just stay one level.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of what we do is that, like Mike said, you always have to be on. So even when you're off, you're on. You know what I mean? So like it's going to go up and down. It's going to go up and down. But I like what you said about like some people plateau and it like just flatlines. But I like to think of it more like that's the luck that you have in like having a relaxed break, which you've earned after a little bit of time. But like you look forward to those flatlines almost instead of looking forward to the heart beating, which is a different way to look at the monitor, right?
And
True.
Break is over. Now we get into serious business. Mike, what are we talking about this episode? I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about kind of a couple channels for consumers to buy insurance. You're a consumer, you're a business owner, you're going to buy insurance. Are you going online and buying insurance through a digital channel, or are you reaching out to your local or national broker to procure insurance for you? So we're going to talk about that today.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, take it away.
No, it's a great topic. I think with the changes in our environment and with what's going on in with online business these days, the blurred line has become even more blurred to figure out like where the right place to go is for your business. One thing that when I came to Boardwalk, we were heavily invested into technology and moving that needle forward for insurance brokerages in Canada. But something that we've realized along the way is that other places that are trying to do this are just trying to expedite the process without the thought, the care, the deep dive into your business to make sure that what matters to you is protected.
They're trying to take the human out of the loop.
Yeah. And then I can't sit well with that, considering I come from like a 20-year sales background face to face with individuals. I like that we're moving that way. I want to always remind people that you got to pick the right place to go for what your business means to you.
Mm-hmm. There's a place for technology and there's a place for people. And we're really technology, as Alan mentioned, is very embedded at Boardwalk. So it's embedded in everything we do, but we make sure we're using it in the right places. So as a consumer, you can go online and you can buy, as a small business owner, you can buy insurance through an online aggregator. However, when you're doing that, chances are you're not getting that second set of eyes on it. Are you really getting the right coverage?
It's not tailored.
Exactly.
Right? It's like you may be thinking, oh yes, it's just another one of these businesses. And there's a cookie cutter diagram out there to cut out for every type of business. For sure there is. But every business tends to do something slightly different than the last.
Lots of nuances.
Yeah. And I think that's something that should be taken into consideration. And that's why having a broker that you can speak to, that you can explain your business to, it takes it to the next level. You know that what you're getting into is somebody who's protecting you, but also looking out for you, wanting to make sure that you can grow this business at a certain rate that you're prepared to grow it at. And actually, I kind of lost myself.
Well, that I'll continue on for you. The biggest differentiator is having that person that'll look after you. So when shit hits the fan and things go sideways, you need someone you can call and say, hey, off the record, this just happened. What do I do? Or I'm bidding on this job. I need this. What does this mean? That's when a broker really brings a lot of value to an individual looking to buy insurance.
And there's this saying, and I really like these notes that are in front of me, and I'm going to challenge you guys on this. The illusion of the 90-second quote. Now, how is that even possible to get a 90-second quote, like to get a quote on the spot when they don't have a clue who you are and what your situation's like? How do you guys combat those people that say, well, I was able to get a 90-second quote? How do you?
Well, I mean, nothing's stopping you, first of all, from doing the 90-second quote. It's all out there. It's available to everybody. Mm-hmm. The difference is that, like Mike said earlier, you may need something from that company in the future, or you may need something specific tailored to what you're doing because you've taken on a specific operation that wasn't listed in your 90-second quotes diagram. Mm-hmm. And what I love about being a human broker, right? And I think that's the way I like to position it, as a human broker. We may take longer than 90 seconds, but you're getting something that's exactly perfect for your business. And
you're getting a solution that fits.
Yeah, you're getting a solution that fits. You're getting somebody that you can reach out to at any time that you need something. You're not just sending an email to an inbox and hoping that the triage team takes it and sends it back and gets it to you whenever they get it to you. You're leaving your business in the hands of a robot, essentially, with these 90-second quotes. Mm-hmm. I personally would like to leave my business in the hands of somebody that I know, that I can trust, that I believe has responsibility. Like, I think that makes a big difference. And you tell me if I'm wrong.
I'll give you an analogy. You go into you have your favorite cereal, your favorite type of milk. You can go online, you can buy that. It's not very nuanced. It's a very, heterogeneous product. It's all the same. You know your brand, you know what you're getting. But with insurance, it's so nuanced. There's so many intricacies. You're buying a contract that can protect, either the make or break of your livelihood, which is your business. And I think people are aware of that. Like, they know they're scared of insurance contracts because there are 100-page documents with warranties, with conditions, with exclusions, with definitions. Like, how can you feel comfortable just buying that in 90 seconds online, without actually talking to someone to explain, hey, you're doing this sort of thing, or you're buying this policy. Did you know that this policy doesn't cover you if you do this thing? So it's very important to keep that human in the loop.
And then, for people who watch us on myboardwalk.ca on Instagram, they see that we've done a bunch of playful videos, and it's all about wait times. It's all about being on the phone with a robot, with someone that is not tailored to your business. How do you guys feel about the responsiveness of it all? Why is that such a big pivotal thing here at Boardwalk, that this is mandatory, non-negotiable?
I mean, Mike, how many times have you picked up the phone, called the company, and just sat through numerous IVR switches and waited on hold and listened to elevator music?
Nothing's more frustrating than that. Nothing's more frustrating than
Right. Like, so, I mean, the answer is there in plain sight. I think too many people just kind of overlook it because, oh, yeah, that's just the way it is. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to elevate that experience. And we want people to, you know, my sales team, when they answer a phone, they're there to speak to you. If you're not there when they call back, they'll send you an email with a time to connect or book a meeting link. We want to be involved. And I think like that's how we want to show people the difference between just dealing with the robots of the world and dealing with the humans that you can trust and that you can put your hard-earned money and your investments with, because that really is what your business is. It's your money into an investment, and it's something that you're trying to build over time, hopefully for legacy.
Yeah, speaking to a human is becoming more and more challenging. Getting access to a human is not as easy as it used to be. And oftentimes, as you both alluded to, you're waiting on hold, or you're running into countless voicemails. You're being transferred from this person to that person, this voicemail. You know, we live in a society where things move quickly. You know, we're talking about the 90-second quote. We're talking about individuals are taking on more and more on their plates. They're so busy. So when you're calling, when someone's calling someone for an answer, you know, they have a limited window of opportunity to get that answer. And then they're on to the next thing. They're busy. So they need to be able to reach that individual and find that solution in that moment, because that moment may not present itself for the next few hours, the next few days, the next week. So we need to be responsive. And Alan has done a great job at priding himself on that and ensuring the culture at Boardwalk surrounds that responsiveness.
And now with responsiveness, I'm going to tell you to answer this next one real quick, is speed of it all. So you can be responsive and that's great. But now is the Boardwalk mentality, we're going to be responding well, but we're also going to be very diligent, very quick at getting back to you?
Well, I definitely agree with that statement in itself, because I come from a retail focused sales background. For 20 years, I coached and trained salespeople in retail, which is a face-to-face environment. The first thing they teach you is the greeting. It's the first thing that you have to do when a person walks into your home or into your business. If you don't do that within 15 to 30 seconds, have you earned the right to even have a conversation? And that has carried forward with me for 20 years, and it's worked every single time, because if you show the determination to get in contact with somebody, to show them that you're willing to, you know, learn about them, understand what they're here for, what they're looking for, that's the first step of doing business with somebody. And I mean, I tell my salespeople all the time, it's timing. If you don't answer that lead within the first 5 to 15 minutes, they're going to go somewhere else. We just talked about how you can get a 90-second quote, guys. So if I'm going to go on a computer, I'm going to hit, you know, right here on the screen, it says get a free quote. If I can press the button, we can fill in a form in 2 minutes, and then somebody calls me within 5 to 15 minutes. That's something that's special to me.
So hold on. There's a difference between get a free quote and one of those AI generated quotes where they're going to get a free quote, but it's a human doing it. When in the other way, they give them that cereal and milk and you already know what you're going to get. It's kind of in this ballpark. So do you think that get a free quote goes the extra mile where you know that they're going to input their information, but then they're going to hear back from you within a timely fashion?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, you have to deliver on the promise. So yeah, that responsiveness, the initial touch point, like Alan mentioned, is very important. We want to have that initial touch point. But going back to Stefano's question is, when are we delivering the quote, the product, the final product? So that depends, I suppose. It depends on, you know, the type of business you're serving. If it's a small business, how quick can one of our brokers get a solution?
I mean, funny enough, yesterday is a perfect example. We had one person call in the morning. We collected the information. They were bound before the afternoon. And it can turn around really quickly, as long as it's a two-way street, guys. We're willing to do the work, but you got to give us the information to do our job. Yeah. And with an online quoting system, sometimes it's as easy as just putting whatever numbers you want in there, and it could be right, it could be wrong, but no one's asking that question to validate. We want to make sure that it's correct, because I don't want to provide you with a quote that's way too expensive for something that you don't need, or covering less than what you actually have. There's a lot of intricacies with our process that we need to be sure that we're doing, because we're not just giving you a piece of paper. You're not just buying a piece of paper. You're buying coverage, and coverage only works when it's accurate.
And now we come to the segment where you guys don't even know this is about to happen, but this is the kind of producer you have. It's the speed round. I have my own questions that I've always wanted to ask you guys. You don't know what they are, but I think this is going to be fun. Alan, we're going to start with you.
Lightning round is where I specialize. Let's go.
Are consumers sacrificing coverage and advice for convenience?
In 2026, I believe so, because you can go on a website, you can press a button, press 3 drop-down menus and hit give me my quote, and that's it. Some people just don't have the time or they don't think about insurance, but that's why we're here. Let us take that time. All you got to do is give us the information. We do the work. You continue doing your job. That's the beauty of it.
Michael Malfa, do you think insurance is becoming too transactional?
Well, yes, but I want to break it down. Like we're talking about insurance, like insurance has a fork. There's small business, like we do commercial insurance, just to clarify. There's small business, there's mid-market, and there's enterprise. So really there's 3 prongs of insurance. So let's be clear here. You know, small business insurance has become very transactional, and you know, it has to become transactional because of the volume. There's no way to give it that level of attention that you would give to like an enterprise client that could be paying millions of dollars in premium. So small business transactional, yes, they value speed, they value convenience. Mid-market, more nuanced, a lot of moving parts. You need a technical expert to really understand things. Speed and convenience is low priority. You know, advice and guidance is top priority for mid-market. And then enterprise, which is like really large, you're paying, you know, mid-market's probably, I would say you're paying between $30,000 to $150,000 in premium per year. That's mid-market. Enterprise is even above that. You're paying, you know, $500,000 and up in premiums. So that's when it becomes, you need technical experts. The technical expertise becomes extremely valuable. It's not about speed. You have to be responsive, but it's not about speed. It's about getting the right product and the right team.
That a boy. And so now I will say this. This is a very important one too. Will the next generation of insurance buyers even want the simple AI clicking when Boardwalk is presenting a real human at that kind of speed with that tailored approach?
I think there's always going to be a distinguishing factor between the 2 types of clients that you'll see, especially in that small business world. There's going to be new business owners who want to do things the right way and establish something in, you know, the way that their parents did it or the way that they've seen done in previous businesses that they've worked in. And then you're going to get the people who just start a business and need to get it done because they need to get it done. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with either side.
You need to check a box.
You just need to check a box. And then we like to be the ones to do the work for you. So just let us check those boxes and then you just give us the information. Yeah.
We'll check them correctly for you. And talking about AI, like we're not against AI at Boardwalk. So Boardwalk, as we said in the beginning of the podcast, you know, we're very tech driven, but we're using AI to speed up that process. So there's still a human, and all our technology optimizes the broker. So at the end of the day, the client gets that wonderful experience where there's a human that they can call when there's an issue, there's the guidance, but that human is empowered. They're supercharged with technology. They can find solutions faster. They can find better solutions for the client by using that technology. We're not replacing the broker, we're supercharging them.
And last question for both of you. What is the one thing that Boardwalk Insurance has changed immediately to stay competitive over the next 5 years coming?
Yeah, so I think the big thing is, I'll let you think about that one, but the big thing is the technology. Like that's how we're staying competitive. You know, we're constantly looking at, you know, kind of like the customer journey. So the customer journey, what's their experience with Boardwalk? How can we improve that with people, with technology, and with processes? Those are usually the ways to do it. So those are different levers we pull. You know, how can we train our people? How can we optimize our people to deliver a better process, a better experience? How can we tweak our processes, Alan? We always talk about this. Let's improve our process so we could tighten the response times when the lead comes in. Technology, what are we doing? What kind of technology are we giving our customers and our brokers to orchestrate that experience?
I like to think that because we've taken on a lot of new to insurance brokers, these are like brand new to the industry, new to the field. I was one of these people as well. And with that kind of leadership and that kind of sales team, you're not bringing the bad habits of the old or the jaded experiences that you may have had with these large organizations or other brokers that you would have seen in the past. We have a clean slate to work with. So we're developing this new line of insurance producers and brokers on the front line, and we're teaching them the right ways to do it. But we're also, like Mike said, giving them technology to surpass their their previous worlds or the worlds that existed before, because that's something I think is really important. I remember when we were in retail too, having somebody who's been in the business for 20 years may not think the same way as somebody who just walks in, because they know people are different and generations have changed.
We're entering new realms.
New realms.
New realms. Mike brought in the new realms.
worlds.
But now, with this new world and this new change, we've also connected with people across all social media platforms. So, Mike, take it away. Where can they find you guys?
As always, you can find us online at www.myboardwalk.ca or on Instagram and LinkedIn, which is Boardwalk Insurance.
And you can always find me at risk.flair.
There.
On Instagram, and like Mike said, on the other Boardwalk channels. But I mean, you guys know I'm the most watched video on Boardwalk's YouTube, so you might as well just click on the link and watch and subscribe.
Humble as always, Alan.
You know me.
And until next time, we'll see you later.